Oh. Why do I always do that to myself? Are we all having a lovely new year? I, for one, am having a fabulous new year, primarily because the start of the new year means that it is no longer December. And December where I work is a little bit like a really intense personal training regime of extreme heat, bad smells, bodily fluids, a lot of various bodily fluids, and aggression from large groups of people from everywhere. Spare a thought for the venues who hold your work's Christmas parties, because I can guarantee you, most of the time, we don't even get one. We just get yours. And your bodily fluids. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. To try and keep up morale and to make everything a little bit more manageable during the festive season, one of the things we do at work is we have a staff-wide sweepstake to guess how many customer vomits there will be during the month of December. Now, last year's vomit count was shockingly low, like the lowest I've ever seen there at a Christmas time, possibly the lowest in history. So I went in with a very cautious guess of 7 voms. I did not win. The winning guess was 15. In some circumstances, that doesn't even seem like a high number, but it's just quite hard to express how compressed into a short space of time they were. Like, it truly was a Christmas miracle. So we had the thermometer sweepstake blue tacked onto the staff room wall next to our Dick of the Month award, and then to go with that we had a table to record all of the vomits that happened and who cleaned them up. And then I added a little comments box at the side of each one. Vom number 2, cleaned by Chris, slightly lumpy. Vom number 3, cleaned by Kyle, vegetables. Vom number 4, located in a glass, cleaned by Alex, red wine. Vom number 5, cleaned by Simon, fuck my life. Number 7 was by the bar and apparently looked like tuna. And the first one of the season was actually cleaned up by me and my friend So. So there's a routine to it, we got the equipment, we got a system. Now obviously it's work's Christmas party, so they get their Christmas meal, they get a Christmas cracker. And obviously while a lot of our customers are lovely, it's their Christmas party. A lot of them have a tab from their boss behind the bar and drink considerably, and that makes many of them irritating or aggressive. However, over the past few years, I have learned that one of the most powerful items on the planet is a Christmas cracker hat. No matter how annoying or aggressive a group of people have been, if you put them in a sea of 300 to 400 people all wearing multicoloured Christmas hats, everyone is adorable, and I support it. So we head towards the pile of sick, doing the Lord's work for his birthday, and Soph just so happened to be wearing a Christmas cracker hat that was light green, like a really bright green. And then we get to the sick, and the sick just so happened to be bright green, like radioactive bright green. So yeah, bright green, possibly radioactive, matched Soph's hat. And it did! What a way to start off the vomits. Another Christmas miracle. I hear movement. No, I don't. They're tricking me. Today's plan, for the record, is to keep looking out the window at those cars, wait for any movement of a driver possibly moving theirs away, and seize my opportunity like lightning. This is a regular little game I'm forced to play with all of my neighbours. I know they're watching out their windows too. I can feel it. The area that I live in is like the worst in the whole city for parking. I shit you not, that road over there is like one of the most ticketed in the whole of Cardiff. There's traffic wardens everywhere all the time. You're never more than like 10 feet away from one. They're like rats, except they're not, you know, they're human beings just doing their job. I know, I take it back. There are residence permits that you can get, but my address isn't on the street that my front door is on. So if I did get a residence pass, I could park like half a mile away from my house on this really long road, but I couldn't park on the street that I actually live on, because, I mean, that's just how things work in my life. And in saying that, when I did try to get a residence pass, I tried to do it the proper way, went on the council website, was being a good, law-abiding citizen, and they were like, soz lol, none left. What? No? But yeah, parking is a nightmare. Like, sometimes I have to park a good 10-15 minute walk away from my home. You know, like a short drive. I have to park a short drive away from my house. But it's nice to have a lovely cold walk to relax you after a long shift at work, isn't it? In the night time, in the dark, alone. Isn't it? Especially when you've saved up 2 years to buy a thing that was supposed to avoid that. But up until now, on all of the blocks around here, there are some spaces that aren't resident spaces that you can legally park in if you get there first. Just at the corner after you turn, there's sort of like 3 cars worth of space. And sometimes you'll get home, you'll see a space in the distance, and in the further distance, you lock eyes with another driver. And both of you know that, like, we're in this to the death. We have no choice. That's what you commit to when you live here. Like, I can't be friends with my neighbours, because one day I may have to kill them. People have died. I'm one of them. I've died twice. However, recently, in an incredible stroke of luck, I managed to grab one of the few spaces that's just around the corner, just a short 1 minute walk away from my front door, like a rich person with a driveway. But, when I returned to my car the following day, as I was walking towards it, just by the wheels, to my surprise, I saw some brightly coloured lines that I hadn't seen before, like I definitely had not seen before. So in a panic, I started to speed up, sort of half jogging towards my car, like, no, surely not. Like, when I parked, it wasn't even dark. How could I miss that? What is wrong with me? But when I eventually reached my car, I saw that the yellow lines went underneath the wheels, but then sort of stopped unevenly. But then, after a gap, They carried on in front of the car. Yeah, in my absence, and I later discovered the absence of several other drivers in the area, people had snuck over in the night and painted double yellow lines around us. Just around... It wasn't as bad as it could have been, because I was half expecting to walk to the front of my car and see the most unjustified parking ticket in the entirety of history slapped onto the front of the car. But they hadn't done that. If they had, I'd just have, like, sent, not a cheque to the address they told me to, but just, like, a big piece of paper that said no, or a glitter bomb, or dog poo. But since then, right, with all of these sort of half random sprinklings of yellow all over the corners of all of these roads, they haven't finished them. So every corner just has like these sort of gappy yellow lines all around it with cars sort of half parking. I'm not quite sure what I'm meant to do. Like, what does this mean, guys? What does this mean? It's been weeks. Honestly, I'm this close to starting a real, actual, legitimate, physical petition about this. Who am I? Well, I'm in my 20s, right? That's the decade for... Yeah, no, you said it. That's the decade for fighting the system. Yet another limitation on my freedom from the man. I hate the man. My tea's getting to that stage now where it's kind of cold, but it's not so cold that I'm repulsed by it, but this is a very short window, so the race is on, guys. This is a countdown. In other Kim versus life news, I recently went away for about a week to recover from December, and I locked my room, like I always do, because I live in the burgle zone, but I left my key with my housemates, so that if the landlady needed to get in, she could do that, or if they wanted to use my loo, they could do that, or if they heard the unmistakable sound of a really intense house fire starting from within, then they could get in and stop it. But while I was away, Adam messaged me and said that he couldn't get in, which seemed weird, and I'll be honest, I just thought he wasn't really trying properly, because it was the key that I'd locked it with, like literally the same physical key. How would that make any sense? But then a couple of days later, Alice and some of the others also tried, and they too could not use the key. And, I mean, what? Why? So on my return I was ready for one of two outcomes. One, finding out that no one I live with can use a key, which is a little bit worrying because we all share a front door. Or two, nothing about physics or my reality making sense anymore, because it is... what? It was the second one. Obviously it was the second one. And after a good and a half hour of trying to wiggle it, pull it in certain directions to try and make it work, to try and regain access to my room with the very key I locked it with, I just had to break it down. Let's remove Alfie, because I don't want to have to, like, hack his face off to get in. I feel bad.
I think we have a giant hammer somewhere, right? You take it some way.
Yeah, that's right. There we go. Yep, there we go. Unlocked. And now, the hole's still there. There's just a hole in my door. And, I mean, I keep putting bits of paper up next to it, but it's not the same as a door. That's just a fact of my life now. It gives a really good view to all of my valuables for any burglars that might want a window shop before they come in. I text the landlady. Locksmith, she says. Monday, she says. Still a hole. It is now too disgusting for me to drink, but I've also finished it, so, I mean, we're just winning. We're winning. This does, of course, mean that our problems aren't limited to just water-based ones anymore, which I don't know how I feel about. It does make it feel more like the old house. Maybe both of them are just trying to make us feel more at home and ease the transition. Oh, police. Hello. Thank you for keeping up. Oh, that's not police, that's tall police. So now, with even less options, when I get a decent parking space, I try to avoid leaving at all, because I don't want to lose the space and have to walk 20 minutes through the cold again. And also, I don't really want to leave, because all my stuff's here, and when I come back, realistically, I probably won't even be able to get into the house at all. That's the next step. So, the moral of the story is, never leave your home. Happy New Year.